Hello, and welcome to this episode of Celebration of Consciousness. I am your host, Loreli Drache. I am so thankful that you're all holding space with us today, either in real or virtual. I thank you for that. We're just going to start off with an opening blessing and to hold the space here today. I have some wonderful presenters. We have Jeff Kelson talking about his journey, his galactic connections, and how he connects with his guides. So we're so thankful to hear that. And then we have Maggie Wilcox, the Dragon Priestess, who will be guiding us through some dragon energy and connections. So that's really, I've been so looking forward to that, and I'm so thankful. And we'll round it out with Rev Ned with a teaching blessing. He always ties all this beautiful energy together and closes out the space. So I hope you'll all be able to join us for that. At this time, I just invite you to take a few deep breaths to center yourself and get your feet connected. Imagine them going down to wrapping around the center of the earth, and your crown reaching up to the divine. And just take some of those deep breaths in as if you're breathing in that life force, that chi, deep into your root chakra. Release. Get us all centered and back in our own energies now that we're sitting here quietly. I ask my guides, my angels, and my ancestors, as I always do, help us hold space and open that divine light channel so that all may feel unconditional love as they hold space with us today. You're welcome to invite anyone you energetically work with to hold space with you today as well, so that we may all be connected, because this side of the veil, other dimensions, timelines, however you'd like to put all that, we're all connected. They show me like a web of lights, and I am so thankful for those connections and to be able to travel my consciousness through all that is. Just going to take a moment just to hold those energies and open them up and hold space with us. This is the new one. They're having me do 2 circles of energy here, like I'm opening portals. So that's interesting. So bear with me just a moment. I thank you for all benevolent energies for holding space with us today. I thank you for your presence and your love. And so it is. Thank you. First off today will be Jeff Kelson, and I am just going to give his introduction here. Jeff has been very in tune and connected to the collective consciousness since he was about 11 or 12 years old. His skill set includes being certified as an advanced clinical master hypnotist. Among training he's completed is the NLP training and completed in all phases of master training program and a certified Reiki master. Jeff is proficient in aura chakra reading and pendulum reading. He can provide remote Reiki sessions and lead discussions of practical mysticism related to contemporary society, connecting with ancient knowledge, or lead discussion of the Atlantean Lemurian society preceding the Aztecs and Incas, but not from a cerebral perspective or the links between humanity and the celestial ancient. He also offers mentorship, guidance, and transitioning between the 3D and 5D consciousness. Jeff helped ghostwrite with his wife the book Janet's Little Book of Feng Shui, and is well versed in the art form. And welcome, Jeff, and thank you for holding space with us today.
Thank you, Lorelei. Okay, so here's a starting point. Let's start with that we refer to what we've been talking about here regarding galactic understandings. That's a very heavy topic. So let's start off with what that even refers to. Now, here's some things that most of us already are aware of. So that's where I want to start off, want to lean into of what we're already aware of. So we are beings that are here for a period of time, and we are all tied to oneness. So what that means is that as human beings, we are already united on various levels. Now, being united and being in oneness, that is part of being galactic. So the nature of being galactic is that we have many different beliefs and interpretations as to what to do with such an idea. Those of us who approach it from within ourselves, it's a very different premise from approaching it from like, well, how do I take the ship there? How long would it take? How many light years? All those kind of things are a very different premise from simply, how do I find myself there? Because it's traveling by the speed of thought is very different than traveling by the speed of light, which, as we all know, everything is referred to as being thousands, millions, billions of light years away. So traveling by the speed of light, kind of slow. So traveling by the speed of thought is what I'm making reference to. If you want to get a sense of what our galaxy and the galaxies around us and the galaxies around those, et cetera, are like, the first step is recognizing what a molecule is, what grains of sand on the beach is, the expanse between the molecule, the space in the molecules is vast. The space in between the molecules and the grain of sand, vast. If you look at the grain of sand on the beach, just hear how many there are. If you think of the grains of sand as similar to the planets, similar to the stars, to the constellations, if you think in terms of those kind of numbers, then you have the general idea. It's vast, extremely vast. So here's what I'm going to introduce to you as a starting point. When it comes to dimensions, all that refers to is that once you move into a higher dimension, you're moving out of the human constructs of place, of time, of proximity, that we don't have to move with those constructs. If we move without space and time and proximity, that allows us to be anywhere that we want to be at a given moment. That's where you begin to explore the higher dimensions. So those folks who we listen to, who refer to exploring and being in the higher dimensions, those who refer to it as being limitless, as being timeless, as being that of unity and love, that is consistent with what the universe actually is. It's a place of love, of unity. It only physically presents itself as a place of vastness, as impossible to know and understand and grasp when you look in terms of what we're visually taking in. So one of the things to be aware of about how this amazing, enormous place works is that when it comes to light and colors, pretty much everything we perceive in this planet, in this dimension, is on the white light spectrum. So if you remove yourself from the white light spectrum toward the gamma spectrum, the infrared spectrum, and there are many more spectrums beyond that. There are many beings elsewhere in other constellations who do not dwell in, exist in the white light spectrum, and also that the sound spectrum, you can tell by how animals orient, such as dogs, that most of the sound spectrum we can't take in. Well, much of that sound spectrum that we can't take in is that which the beings in other dimensions outside of sight, outside of proximity and time, and who are in other galactic areas, other constellation areas, they take in light and sound outside of the white light spectrum and outside the frequencies that we're used to taking in sound with. Now, in reference to frequencies, frequency is a very basic aspect of who we are and how we be. That when you move in out of the proximity of the sound spectrum that we're used to, the light spectrum we're used to, the proximity spectrum that we're used to, the frequency then expands and changes. And you get to experience something entirely new and different. So with that being said, to be aware of, to experience, to be exposed to what else is available to us among the incredible multitude of galaxies and constellations out around the universe, that the frequencies are your guide. If you investigate it through your mind's eye, treat it like something that you can already do, that you already know, as though or as if. If you investigate the sounds that are outside of our usual spectrum, if you investigate the sights, the lighting that is outside of our usual spectrum in the white light spectrum, you are then giving yourself access to an enormous variety of sound and sight that we don't have here on Earth. So it is in those spectrums that many of what I will refer to as the interstellar beings, that so many of them are in. Now, not all of them, though. There are many who are in parallel sights and sounds and dimensions to our own. So there's such a wide variety, literally billions of varieties of beings in various directions. Whether the ones that are commonly referred to, such as the Sirian beings, to the Andromedan beings, to the Pleiadian beings, those are like the most common ones. Orion, beings in the Ursa Minor, the Big Dipper, etc. Those are some of the most commonly referred to beings, but there are so many beings beyond that, and how they exist, how to make any contact with them is through the sound and light spectrums that we don't usually access. That would include how they travel. This travel does not have to be through propulsion. Travel can be through the bending of light, bending of sound, through what I would refer to as a vortex, for those who are not familiar with that. A vortex simply is a conduit for going somewhere beside where we are now, to another dimension, another area of the universe. It can be to anywhere. And what a vortex is simply a conduit to going somewhere else. So for anybody who is creative enough, and everybody is, for being able to make use of a portal, for traveling to a different frequency, to a different dimension of sight and sound, that is where you're able to gain access to the hot farther out constellations and galaxies and to witness the wormholes. It's an absolutely incredible experience to witness the colors, the lighting that are available out there to be exposed to when you're not using your visible eye. There are so many varieties available out there that are for beings that are in those realms that are where they simply are. For us, it is so far beyond what we're otherwise exposed to. So if to be aware of, to be exposed to spend time in the outer galaxies, the higher dimensions, what it involves is expanding oneself. It is not about what technology you're working with. It is not about what you have capacity for. It's not about not being able to because of one's skills and abilities. We have the capacity to be able to access. So for anyone here who wants to access this, all that you need to do is focus and bring yourself there without wondering how to. If you do that, I know for many folks, that's a very radical thing to do. It's something that has never been considered, never been explored. But if you do that, of simply letting go of the limitations that we place upon ourselves for what we can do, where we can go, and how we can be, you can go anywhere. And at that point, it does not really matter how far out a galactic or intergalactic entity is, the place is out there. It does not really matter where it is. What matters is where you want to go, where you want to be. This can be done also through out-of-body experience, through astral travels. That's another vehicle for being able to do this, for being able to go someplace beside where you have thought previously was possible to go. So when it comes to understandings, for me, understandings refers to that which we usually regard as being beyond our understanding, that which we usually regard as mysticism, as being the occult, as being the unexplained experiences that people have. The only reason why they're unexplained or mystical or occult is because they're packaged and framed in such a way that they are beyond our capacity. So if you want something to be within your capacity, refocus. Is being familiar with, being aware of, being exposed to, being around other galaxies simply means that you remove the limits from what you have told yourself or been told you're capable of visiting, of being with, of grasping. The more that you remove those limitations that we have been taught we have, the more that you remove those limitations that we have believed ourselves to be, the more that you have the means to grasp what else is out there. I don't regard myself as being someone who understands something that you are not able to. I regard myself as being someone who can introduce something that you are not already familiar with. So to the degree that you want to be familiar with, to be exposed to be experiencing what the upper dimensions, what the frequencies in other ranges of sight and sound can include, to be experiencing what beings out there are doing in a commonplace way. There are many folks who don't relate to water or air the same way we do, who don't have the same physical composition or same physical landscapes as we do, and where the rules are all different. So to experience it, it's a matter of using that part of your brain that you were told as a child you have no access to, that you were told as a child that they don't know what it is. So use that part of you that is referred to as the pineal part, as being accessed by the pineal gland. You use that part of you that gains access, that has the means to be in access to anything. And if you use that part of you, you can have the same familiarity with, the same grasp of any of this that I or anyone else has. It is not out of your reach at all. Understanding of this simply means that you are able to access it, able to be familiar with it, most likely in a way that you have been programmed and taught that you cannot do. So my purpose here is to introduce you to yourself, introduce you to what you're capable of, that gives you the means to be anywhere that you wish to be. This includes timelines, includes dimensions, parallel realities. You can be 1,000,000,000,000 light years away from here if you wish to access that, since it's simply a measure of distance, and with speed of thought has no meaning. So I offer you the means, the access to visit, to experience anywhere that you wish, and to discover for yourself, if you wish to, what it is like to be in other frequencies, in other spectrums of light and sound that are available to you, that most of us have never considered possible to experiment with and explore. So the premise of galactic understandings, all it really involves is undoing the premise that you can't know, undoing the premise that you don't have access and aren't able to be able to recognize that you are able and do have access if you wish it. Now, it won't necessarily happen that while I'm talking or shortly after that you go to focus on this and all of a sudden it happens for you. It won't necessarily work that way, because you have still within you the built-in premise of, well, how can I do this? What would I do? How would I go about it? The more that you explore, the more that you experiment, the more that you take yourself outside of your usual learnings and understandings to find out what else is available to you, is the degree to which any of this is possible. So I'm aware that a lot of this would have a reaction of, oh my God, really? But that's okay. That's the first step. That reaction lets you know that you want more than what is currently recognized to be available to you. That recognition of wanting more, that there's something within you capable of having that access, is the first step to what is referred to as the galactic understandings, of simply having access to more than what you have previously thought you could do and have and explore and experience, to be able to have that when you want it. So I've probably gone a little while on saying these things. So are there anyone who has any questions, where a light has gone up and said, I want something from this?
Thank
Jennifer,
you.
I see your hand up. Does anybody else have their hand up? I don't know.
No. Yeah, and we can ask in the chat as well. Just remember, like I said, that you'll be included on the recording if you ask in person.
Yeah,
we
I
have,
don't see anybody asking a question in the chat though.
yeah. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Um, this is, I guess, more of a comment, but it's very much in line with what you're speaking about. Recently, with this cleansing I've gone through to rid my life of a shadow figure, and I've been speaking to my brother, and he's actually beginning to open up. And my sister recently sent me an old Christmas photo, and I was looking through it, looking all the detail, and whoever took that picture actually shadow figure in the background. And I showed it to my brother, and he said that it triggered a memory. And he said, oh my God, that thing used to stand outside of my door, my bedroom door, and stare into the room. And everything that you just said, in a different way that I said it to him, but I said, you obviously have some type of abilities as well. You may want to explore this and expand, and there's probably so much going on around you, but you're not paying attention to it. So again, like you were saying, if you want to, is what I told him, try to extend your awareness, and you never know what could happen. So it's incredible as time, the things that we learn, the things that we learn from each other, and it's just incredible. And I always appreciate your comments, and the things that you say. I really respect your mind. So thank you.
You're welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have one more question in the chat for you. What process would you suggest to do this? Ignore if you've already explained, but Rachel was curious if
Yes.
like what your
Rachel,
process is to connect.
okay, Rachel, thank you for the question. It's a great question. Now, for me, it came out of my age 10 vision, how I go about it. For me, it's never been a question of how can I. It's always been a matter of, okay, here's what there is to do. So when it comes to what process, what I would encourage you to explore is, what do you find comes naturally to you? That's what I would encourage you to explore. Now, I can offer you various premises of options. And what I would encourage you to do is to consider what you resonate with, because there's a lot of different ways, and there isn't any right way or correct way to go about it. So it can be done through out-of-body experience, astral travels, focusing on other dimensions, on focusing on the beings directly, which is what I do. You can anything that feels resonant with you, anything that feels right within you, that you feel like, oh, I want to try this. You won't necessarily have a feeling of, I can do this, because our programming says we can't. But anything that you feel within you, any process that feels like, oh, I like that, I feel comfortable with that, or I don't necessarily feel comfortable with it, but I want to try that. It feels scary, makes me nervous, makes me uncomfortable, but I want to find out what that's like. I've been there many times. So anything that you find that you feel like you want to find out what it's like to do, I would encourage you to tap within yourself, to try. Many people go by what other people write. And if you go by the fundamentals of what someone writes, nothing wrong with that, for how no introductory steps. But I personally wouldn't go beyond that with what someone else is writing or saying, because it's their own interpretation, and people kind of tend to bump into interpretations rather than using them with ease. So anything that you want to experiment with, the first question is, in what way do you resonate with it? In what way does it feel like you? That's how I go about it. What feels like me. There are things other people do that I'm not comfortable with. So what feels like a way that you can experiment with? You don't need more than that. What do I feel I can experiment with that can have me do something different, be in a different place, be in a different way than where I am currently? What do I feel good about experimenting with? Something that I feel like I could do. That's the only starting point you really need.
Thank you, Jeff. That was a beautiful answer. And thank you, Rachel, for that great question. I think Jennifer has one more question. And
go for it, Jennifer.
Hey, so since this cleansing, before the cleansing, I knew I had abilities, psychic ability. I could feel negative energies. Now, since the cleansing, I am very clearly getting spiritual attacks. I've had 3 so far in the last 2 weeks, and I'm not really sure how to fend that off, but I am immediately aware of it and what it is, but I'm not really sure how to stop these attacks from coming at me.
Okay. When it comes to spiritual attacks, here's the most basic premise when it comes to spiritual attacks, because this comes up a lot with people that I know. There's a reason why they're attacking you. Now, here's some basic things to be exploring when it comes to fueling that question. One is that there are many beings who are not in higher dimensions, who come here for reasons that are more tied to our DNA than they are to anything else. That how we got our DNA in the first place, why it is so similar to others that we read about or hear about, is because we have very similar DNA to other beings out there. Now, if a being is attracted to your vibrations, to your aura, to your DNA, if a being is attracted to that, what you have the power to do with the lower dimension being, because the higher dimension beings will not attack. With the lower dimension being, what you have the capacity to do is to very forcefully say no. I pretty much never encounter stories of anybody tell me directly or anything that I've come across on people's postings. I pretty much never come across anyone actually forcefully telling a being no. It just really never comes up. So, and I noticed that in the stories. So what they count on with you is that you will not protest, that you will be so scared of them that you will not make a protest. Not so different from a rape victim in that regard. People who rape are counting on no protest. So when it comes to the attack, if you make very clear to them, you don't have to say it out loud necessarily, because they will pick up on your thoughts. So if you are forcefully letting them know at every fiber of your being, I do not accept what you're doing, they have to take that into account. They won't necessarily, because of their own proclivities, want to agree to it. They have their desires, they have their purpose that they are there for. But if you are very adamant about it, I do not accept this. I want you to stop and leave. I do not accept it. They have to pay attention. That's universal law. They have to pay attention to your request. So I would offer that as a means that, right, I would encourage you to replace your fear with adamant instruction to them quickly of, I do not accept this. You do not get to do this. Leave, and see what they do next. They will be surprised.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The first two times it happened, I was so sick and I felt so bad. And the one time my eyes were literally rolling in the back of my head, and I realized that this has to be some type of spiritual attack. But yesterday when this happened to me, after a while, I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting it now. And I did say, okay, that's enough. You need to leave. So I think as I'm going through this journey that I'm on, I'm very slowly you know, realizing the steps that I need to take, especially with the help of others. So I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Jennifer. We have one more question before we move on, and it's kind of a joint question. Both Debbie and Rachel are asking, what do you do to prepare to put yourself in that space? Do you have a certain process like meditation, breath work? I mean, how do you get yourself into a place where you can reach that level where you can project yourself or can call in those energies? I'm kind of reading into the question, but I get what they're asking, as far as like, and even do you have to be in like that type of space, or can you just go there and say, hey, in your mind, like, I'd like to connect to, let's say, the Arcturian, and just set that intention? So they're asking if there's a process leading up to that may help them, or if it's just something they can focus on. No, and they're saying that's exactly what they meant. So if you could just answer that, and then we'll have to move on.
Okay. As a way of introducing a premise here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me that will help you to know that we're not different. I spent a great deal of my time before this past few years being an overthinker, being someone who just was always in my head. Now, if most likely, given how you asked the question, you're the kind of person who thinks a lot, who has a lot going on in your head. It comes across that way. If you are that kind of person, I was that kind of person. So the first thing that I had to do to approach a great deal of this in terms of focus and clarity was to clear my mind. Now, here are some things that I do to clear my mind, because that is most likely your first step here. If you're clearing your mind, I find that the most magical way of clearing my mind is through my breathing. Breathing is miraculous. If you use breathing to clear your mind, here are certain things that will happen. I'll just give you a brief feeling of what I'm referring to. That kind of breathing I'm referring to. Just wanted to be clear as to what the breathing that I mean. So if you're doing breathing to let go, if you're doing breathing to clear yourself, if you do it with focus, you will clear yourself. It's my own experience has been that when I do that sufficiently, I get clear. I can't hold on to those rampaging, constant pillaging thoughts. I can't hold on to them when I do that kind of breathing. I just can't do it. So if you let go of those thoughts include, how am I supposed to do this? I can't do this. Am I able to do this? Is this a good time to do this? Those various thoughts are part of the thought process that you have before you clear your mind. Because if you don't clear your mind, if you simply decide, I've got all these thoughts going on in me, got them all over the place, all kinds of things, but I'm going to ask for contact right now. It's going to be difficult to do because you have to have a place within yourself to be able to make contact from before you can make contact. So I would encourage you to clear your mind. Breathing is my preferred favorite way. That's how I go about it. But there's other ways of clearing your mind that can be used. Meditation has a lot of different vehicles and avenues. Mind clearing has a lot of different vehicles and avenues. Breathing is my preferred way. But any way that you go about clearing your mind, that clearing enables you to have the focus and clarity that you now need to make that contact. Because for you to contact them and be able to be aware that they are connecting with you, that you're connecting with them, and they are connecting with you, requires that clarity, that focus that I'm referring to. You can't really do that with an overbusy mind. If you got all the stuff going on, like I used to always have going on, I got much better at contact. I was aware of them for let's say for about a half a century. I've been familiar with these things, but I wasn't really that good at really connecting with them until I started clearing my mind, and that was far more recent. So I was aware of them. I could feel them. I could be out of body with them. I could travel with them, but I really couldn't be with them the way that I'm able to be with them now without clearing my mind. It's a different experience. I was aware of them, familiar with them, felt them, but being with them, not as able before I was able to clear my mind. So upon clearing yourself, having clarity, having focus is a much better conduit, a much better place to start for being able to have contact with them. And when you do that, it will also make it possible to know for sure if you really are having that contact. One thing you will come across with various people who post about this is there are playful beings out there, mischievous, who, if you don't come into it with sufficient clarity, there are some folks who want to mess with you. That's just how they are. So if you want, so you do want to have sufficient clarity in making contact to make sure that they are who they say they are, because that can happen too, that someone gets mischievous and pretends to be somebody. It can happen. So you want to make sure that they are who they say they are. You will feel them, feel their presence within you when they are who they say they are. They're quite able to do that. They won't just say, "Hi, I'm here, let's connect." That's not how it works. They don't, it's not like somebody on a street corner who says, "Hey, how you doing?" That's not what they do. They connect with you through who you are. They connect with you through how you present yourself and how you be with them, to be with you in a far more full way than a neighbor from across the street who wants to have coffee with you. It's not the same kind of connecting or experience. So if you want to be with them and be with who they are and have them be with who you are, clarity, fullness of mind is definitely paramount for that experience.
Thank you so much for that, Jeff, and the wonderful information that everybody was really connecting to your presentation. And I'm so thankful that you hold space with us and looking forward to your meditation in a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for your wonderful questions. Next, we invite Maggie Wilcox. She's going to be speaking in just a moment. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about Maggie. She's actually a reverend, and she's a spiritual and holistic health coach and intuitive healer. She combines many modalities of Reiki, Hawaiian Kahuna, Lemurian energy, aka Arch. Some may know it as Atlantean crystal technology, guided imagery, and card readings, while integrating shamanic, tri-yoga, and Kundalini yoga practices. Maggie is a Dragon Priestess, a Dragon Resonance healer, and a Dragon and Celtic Reiki Master. She teaches others how to work with the dragons to help the planet and activate their inner dragon essence, come back to their power beyond bloodlines throughout all dimensions and parallel realms. In her early 20s, Maggie began studying spirituality and meditation. In 1999, her life changed when she received her first Reiki initiations and began practicing Kundalini yoga. In 2000, she moved to New Orleans and began teaching yoga after the birth of her first daughter. It was here she discovered Tri Yoga and has followed that practice since. In 2002, she opened her own yoga studio called Moon Dancer Studios in New Orleans. In 2004, she moved to Tampa and began teaching spiritual workshops and yoga at Yogani Studios and began her business, which is called Wheels of Light. For 4 years, she was a senior teacher in the Yoga Loft Teacher Training Program in Tampa. Maggie offers online and in-person workshops, sessions, and yoga in Palm Springs, California, and retreats in Joshua Tree, California. Currently, she runs her alternative website, Wheels of Light, and I'll share that with you in just a moment, which is a wonderful source for long-distance study and healing. Here you'll find her ebooks, MP3s, and session options. Additionally, she has a metaphysical shop with Reiki, Goddess, and Dragon items at the Wheels of Light Reiki shop. So there's lots of ways to connect with Maggie. Thank you for coming here today and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. I haven't heard my full bio in a while. That was interesting. The story of your life. Yeah, Reiki found me in 1999. And I was always, wanting to help people. I had high energy, we're all these different voltages in life. Some people are 110s, some are 220s, some are 440s. And so that's what we would call, indigos and whatnot. And then, of course, we were birthing, crystal and rainbow children. And we're all in these higher vibrations more than ever. After, my 25 years of teaching, even my teaching ways have changed, And I really like helping people to connect to their own magic, their own power. And let's get into the dragons and how they found me. They were always with me somewhat, like when Karuna Reiki, Kuan Yin was a dragon rider and was held up by dragons. And then when I did a lot of the Kahuna training, which is Arch's Ancient Rainbow Conscious Healing. And my Reiki teacher had some miraculous things that happened to her in Hawaii and healings on the Kahuna stones. These rocks full of mana, mana, chi, ki, prana, it's everywhere. And so with the dragons, I find that, we're familiar with elementals and the fae and the different dimensions. And I find that dragons reside everywhere within all the dimensions, but they're also like weaving, almost like the glue of the universe that hold it all together. So they helped form the earth. And then they guided, the Lemurian, those earlier tribes who were more crystalline in nature and in their beings. And they were able to then really feel the elements, speak, telepathically, even shapeshift into dragons as well as work with them. And I feel it was when we wanted to have a more carbon-based body that some Lemurians then stayed and became Atlanteans. Some went into hiding. There were some wars, whatnot. So that gets really deep, right? I know. I know that you gentlemen also have some beautiful knowledge on that. But I find that for us then to work with dragons today, we need to realize that the earth is changing, that we are shifting with her because we are the microcosm and she is the macrocosm. So we're, elevating, so to speak, into Gaia, into different dimensions. But also these bigger dragons come in when we are transitioning to a new era. So, when planets, star systems are transitioning, you get these bigger alpha dragons, Sophia. And so I found Sophia, who then led me to the dragons. And from there, I just had to absorb everything dragon, right? So I took a lot of different dragon trainings. But I like using the dragons for healing our own bodies, specifically the elemental dragons that are also within us. And then all those elements are also running beneath the feet and the ley lines. So, you know, we focus on healing what's around us, right? In our realm, including our temples, which are our bodies, and our temples around us. And I'm feeling like the theme of protection is also part of this channel of consciousness today. And I'm getting a huge ringing in the ears now. And so I have always used the dragons for protection as well. And they work with the archangels. Some say dragons are the archangels, however you want to perceive that. But you surround yourself with them, and you might call on them in front of you, to the sides and behind. But you can also call on the individual elemental dragons. I also like to stomp my dragon feet and clear the ley lines in front of me, clear them to either side and behind me. Use your energy, use your power. And that's what dragon energy has taught me most, is to step into my own miraculous ways, my own sovereign divinity. And you literally are breaking free from matrices and things that have been ruling our world and keeping us contained. Because we do have all of the power truly within us. And once we can grasp that and also be able to go to that zero still point of darkness and the void that is, you know, our great mother, and dive into those parts of ourselves, you know, our shadows. And we go, you know, into the earth, and we travel and we visit, you know, all these lands and vortexes that we want, much like we were with the galactic tribes that we were just doing previously. Yeah, and then it's all within you, and you sink into your own vortexes, your own chakras, and then you notice how that mirrors, especially your heart energy. It then mirrors everything around you. And we open up Gaia's heart even greater. And so I just want to bring in a little prayer for us to help us ignite our own protection. You know, as women in particular, we have to oftentimes remember our masculine sides, but some of us overdo it to the point of exhaustion. So the feminine is definitely more, you know, receptive, receiving. However, there are times that you need to stand up for yourself. You need to not feel fear. And so working with the dragons is very helpful in that way. So fire dragons, I highly recommend. Thor's thunder and lightning dragons. Maybe you want to work with Buffalo Woman and her thunder and lightning dragons. And then I also like working with the rainbow tribes. And of course, there's many octaves and colors, right, that we learned that go above and beyond that. But as you see colors in your realms today, think of that within you. Think of it as little dragon beings. Dragons, you know, can be in many sizes and forms, much like our energy when we choose to expand or shrink. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's see what we feel, all right? Making sure we're grounded and centered. Take a deep breath. Exhale out what you don't need. Good. Connect to your feet, your sit bones. This will help you to anchor so that you may also soar. Beautiful. And we call on Mother Gaia, Sophia, also our universal mother, Father Sky, and the Alpha Dragons, who enter our worlds, planets, and star systems when we're transitioning to a new era. And we ask that you guide us to the right inspired action. Communicate to us the divine codes and templates to be held by us and our great mother below us. And now with our own energy and with us breaking ley lines below us, we now release vows, curses, contracts, wounds of our ancestral lineages. things that are affecting us in this lifetime and past lives, breaking any soul ties or karmic contracts that are not for our greatest good beyond time and space. Good. Take a deep breath, release, down, down, down. Good, good, good. Through all parallel realms. Anything that is not serving our highest good, any contracts or vows we might have made that we thought were for our greatest good once upon a time, that no longer serve us, we release it now. Anything we've been holding for our family lineages, past lives, letting it go. Good. And with the help of our great mother, Sophia, we now nurture our own internal temples. And as we do, we're healing Gaia as well. And we ask for help to navigate this planet with love, safety, and grace. Help us to remain grounded while in our heart space. And now we accept your miraculous ways. And so it is. Notice how you feel. Ooh, my feet are really tingling. You know, that connection. Also, we invite the elementals in that bring us joy, happiness, peace. The friendly ones that know that we can manifest with ease anything we want, that we could free ourselves from fear. Okay. And in the vein of the elementals, I do want to discuss briefly when you work with fire dragons. Again, it can help with protection. It can help with, you know, bringing the fire into your being, your solar plexus, that energy you might need to, you know, you have ideas and daydreams, but to actually put them into action, to step into your purpose work, call on the fire dragons to help you do that. Call on them to, you know, cast flames of protection around you, around your car, wherever you may be, around your loved ones, and see them as golden flames that don't burn necessarily, but that bring in the highest vibration of light that you are ready to receive at that point in time. And then as you work with the air dragons, you know, it could be in, you know, burning the sage. We see them in the skies. You might even smell them in essences that you squirt, you know, rose waters, lavender waters, and the essential oils. And they're going to help you obtain that higher thought to break free from those old subconscious patterns that are just holding you back. And we ask, right? We have that free will on the planet, so we got to ask, and we call on them to assist us in connecting our higher mind with our subconscious mind, you know? And you know, a lot of times when we're operating in our lower chakras, you know, we got the root that is about your physicalness, your sacral is your emotions, your solar plexus are mental. This is all the earthly stuff, right, that we deal with on a daily basis. But we oftentimes disconnect from the lower half because maybe of fears and of trauma that's happened in those earlier years in our life. And maybe we're too up here, or it's vice versa, you know, and so we find that middle point in the heart center. We connect all of ourself and being to our heart space. Yeah, so that way, if you are, you know, more of a dreamer up here, you help anchor it down so you can then push forward. So you find that balance and the elements within. And then when you are working with the earth dragons, you're feeling safe, protected, supported. You walk in faith. If you're having low back issues, disconnection, the legs, feet, hips, you know, these are areas where you might be disconnected to your own earth. Okay. And so, you know, get into the earth, be in the earth, stare at the earth, whatever that feels like for you in your space and time and what you're able to do. even in cities, right? Play with your plants. Yeah, get earthed, get grounded. The earth dragons also help ground us so that we can receive all the light codes that come in through crown and our higher chakras. Again, that balance. We are like batteries on the planet. You know, we have a negative and positive polarity. And so we work in our own beings with that. And then let's get into the water dragons, because I want to take you on a journey with the water dragons. And so our internal waters, we know we're mostly made of water. Earth has a lot of water as well, and at one time was completely covered in water, and we were of our own watery nature. And if we have been on this planet many times, we probably do have past lives as Atlanteans and Lemurians. And this might feel very comforting to you to be back into this watery, guided journey. Though there are many of us that fear the water from tragedies and the deluge and whatnot that might have happened in Atlantis that you remember. And so I invite you to, you know, call on your protection stronger so you don't fear it, or you can simply remain floating and still go through this journey. Okay. Good. Deep breaths again, closing your eyes, perhaps staring off the tip of nose into your third eye mudra. Relaxing your gaze, letting your body relax more and more with each breath. Bringing in some crystals today that are blue in nature, our watery tribes, and also our earthly tribes. And we're also calling on the water dragons of other planets, like the Neptune dragons, the aquamarine dragons. Good. And I want you to now see, feel, and know that you're on your favorite shore. This could be a beach of any kind, could be an ocean or a lake, or even a river. But I want you to hear, see, feel, and know the lapping of the water, the crashing of waves. And it mimics your breath. And as you exhale, the tides pull away or the water pulls away. And it's pulling things off of your being. And as the tides and waters hit the bank, you're being cleansed and cleared. Allowing the water to first splash gently on the feet, the legs. And as you feel a little more comfortable and protected in your beautiful safety bubble, I want you to allow yourself to step into the water and allow yourself to be a little more cleansed and cleared in the root, sacral. Good. Allow the watery nature of your sacral to just purge of any emotional nature, anything you carry for yourself and others. Let that go. Front and back. 10:10, it is my time. As you go in a little deeper and you allow, bringing the waters up to the solar plexus, calming your inner fires. Removing the emotions and all of these chakras as well. Each of our chakras have many layers like a jawbreaker. And so we carry emotions in each of them as well. So the emotions you might have around your own power, around how you manifest, including the power struggles you might have with others, releasing, letting that go. Releasing any cords from others, letting that go. Allowing the water dragons to also heal, penetrate areas that you've released, patching it up, so to speak. Stepping a little deeper into the heart space, upper back, arms are floating, your being is floating. Your heart is now fully blessed with the water dragon energy, the blessings of the elementals. You might even be remembering parts of your heart that resided in watery realms, that lived near rivers, I'm seeing, or lived with tribes that were by waters. Good. And I'm sensing the dolphins. And there's even river dolphins. They're pink. And the dolphin tribes are coming in. They're surrounding you, blessing you, also giving you a little lift as if you were floating more and more, and protecting you even greater, also chanting and making sounds and clicking and universal noises is what I'm told. And so the watery tribes are blessing your throat. As the sound healing is also affecting your ears, your jaw, your cellular memories. Clearing, clearing. And allow the water to nourish you completely in your head. You are safely protected and easily can breathe. Clearing all the watery nature of your pineal, pituitary glands. And you might even carry a lot of emotions in your third eye, things you've witnessed in this lifetime, past lifetimes, stuff that has affected you that you need to let go of. Because you are safe, you are free, you are free. Good. Clearing that crown, sensing a lot of cleansing going on in our crown. And just see, feel, and know that your own watery nature is just shooting off of you, up your Sushumna, your central channel, fountaining out the top of your head. Good. Let it surround you, your own watery nature, as it goes down below the feet. Breathe it back up. Good. And the dolphins, with your permission, like to take you deeper into the waters. And as you go deeper into the waters, you're going past now the whale tribes. Notice them, hear their blessings, see their playfulness. Notice what whale tribes come in for you. Good. There might be several. Blue whales, humpbacks, orcas. Wonderful. Good. And you're going a little deeper now. And you're passing different mermaid tribes, the Essenes. I didn't know they were here. Also, we're passing the oyster tribes as we go deeper into the sand, and you land into the sand. And a big giant oyster comes up and greets you and offers you a pearl. This is a pearl of wisdom, of mana, of energy to help you remember your watery lifetimes, and you bring it into your heart. And now you're being guided, you thank the oyster tribes, and you're being guided to a grotto, an underwater sea cave, and you enter the sea cave. And as you pass the darkness and you head towards areas of light, I want you to see, feel, and know that you're going to meet your water dragon, the one that's here to help you, to assist you, your guide. And I want you to ask that it appear in a form that you can handle. Good. And you go deeper into the cave, deeper into the rainbow realms of light. And on the count of 3, ask that your water dragon appear. 1, you know it's there. 2, allow it to happen. And 3, see it come into the light. Notice what your water dragon looks like. Notice its tail, its antenna, back of it, its spiny nature, its wings are flappers. I see jewelry as if they're wearing, seashells and pearls and crystals, crowns. Tribe is very just take it into your being. It's just for you. It's just for you. Sustain. Neptune's dragons are here, sustain. And the Rainbow Lemurian tribes are also here. This beautiful amazing feature of portal opening, allows astral tribes, the cosmic tribes, the Stargate tribes to also enter deep into this Earth's watery portal. And you are here for it. So yes, some of us see, some of us feel, some of us know, some of us hear the energy. Take it in and ask that it continue to work with you, your watery tribes, your guide, above and beyond time and space, past this transmission, as you allow. And your own watery nature is now completely healed in every way, as you allow. Now I want you to jump on your sea dragon, your water dragon's back. With a big yell, happiness. Thank also the dolphins for bringing you here, knowing that you can easily and effortlessly, slowly rise up back to the surface. Good, on your watery dragon, passing the depths, moving out of the grotto, thanking all the tribes that came in for us here. Passing the oyster tribes, thanking them, the whale tribes, seahorses. You might even be on one. Thanking the dolphins. As you easily emerge up. And you thank your guide. You come off of your guide and give it some sort of gratitude that works for you. It could be energy, it could be a hug, it could be third eye to third eye, heart to heart. And I want you to feel the sand, the riverbanks below the feet, hearing the frogs, seeing the dragonflies as they all work with the sounds and remind you of who you are and where you can go. And we thank also the elemental dragons, earth, air, fire, and water, and the golden dragons. Amen. We thank you, great Sophia, and the alpha dragons. And so it is, and so it is. Wiggle your fingers. Open your eyes. And thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Yeah, if playing with the dragons is something you want to do, I have a couple classes this month and next month. Look at wheelsoflight.org. Check them out. I love you. We are one. Namaste.
Thank you so much for that, Maggie. Oh my, that was quite a beautiful journey, and I thank you for sharing your knowledge and energies. And you weren't kidding. You, for those that weren't here before, she warned us that during the recording, when she connected with that energy, her mic might go a little weird. So the whole time you were like in the cavern part, it sounded like you were underwater. It was really wild. That's so wild.
You know, and then the recording will be okay. It's really weird how that can happen.
Yeah, it's like I was listening to you underwater. It totally went through the moment. That was beautiful. And is there anybody who has any questions for Maggie? And if not, that is okay. But yeah, I posted her links in the chat, and they'll also be on this recording if you'd like to connect further with her. Go ahead, Jennifer. Do you have any questions?
I believe that I am starting this Kundalini awakening. I just actually worked with a Wiccan who actually says she has a dragon, and she mentioned some things. I wasn't really sure about dragons. I didn't know a lot, but she mentioned that the fact that I did not have this contract with a shadow figure, that if it tried to contact me again, she would eat it up. And I'm not really sure what she's alluding to, but she also said a prayer and put a 10-day blessing with a green energy stone. And I really didn't know what that meant either. I don't know if you can answer those questions.
I certainly can't answer questions of her truths. You know what I mean? But I will say that, you know, as far as Kundalini goes, yes, we have a sort of, you know, the serpent or dragon sitting at our base of spine that does come up. That affects our energy greatly. I practice Kundalini yoga and the breath of fire. And that will literally just shake things out of your field, and it helps you to clearly move things up the spine. This tends to happen automatically anyway when women begin going through menopause. One of the valves in the root closes, which then causes this sort of enlightenment, hot flashes, feel like you're going crazy, that sort of thing. I will say that as soon as you allow your own personal dragon to assist you, it will. And I feel that very strongly as I speak about it now. I also have a free Meet Your Dragon meditation if you want to go a little deeper into that. But I would say, yes, use your dragons to powerfully protect you. See, feel, and know. It's all about faith as well, right? You're either in fear or faith. So either you're fearing these other things. Sometimes we also connect with healers and beings that feed the fear. Okay. That, you know, tell us that, you know, you need this and that. But really what we need is our own power, you know,
Right.
and the dragons help us to come into that own power. And at first we need a little assistance, you know, we need to feel supported, and work with them and see them all around you, see them literally with, you know, flames blowing all around you. When I, talk about people protecting themselves, you could do it in layers, so not just like white light, like see the shields and the fires and the flames. Yeah, do it all until you feel strong enough in your own being. And that, yeah, you could just tell things to get the F out. This is not your space.
Right.
And that's what I empower you to do.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was quite uneasy because for one, I've never worked with a Wiccan. But I had been telling Lorelei quite frequently that my frequencies just have not felt right. And I worked with these individuals over the last few weeks, and I believe my chakras are aligned now. And for the first time, I have a lot of left-sided damage from a spinal cord injury. But as I worked through those chakras, I could literally feel inside of me, I could feel the damage. And it was like it was pulling that damage away. So
Good.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, whether they're Wiccan or angel guides, it really doesn't matter as long as their intention is to help you, and we all have different ways of doing so. I've had many pagan practices, shamanic practices, light practices. It's all with intention to fill ourselves up with so much light that nothing can affect you.
Yeah.
Okay. So have that be your daily practice in any way that works for you. For some, it's prayer. For some, it's Reiki, or literally going out into the sun and sun gazing at, sunrise, right?
Right.
Fill it up with light. Yeah.
I'd love to work with you too. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, darling. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Maggie, for that beautiful explanation. And Jennifer, I send you love and healing as well. And everybody, they're just commenting how wonderful it was to work with you, because some of these people, I believe, are people that have worked with you. And there's one more question. Ari, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, perfect time for me to pop up in a session after I don't know how many months. To him getting introduced to my dragons, and actually even one that I believe he's a water dragon that I'm helping him to restore his walking, because he had a spinal cord injury about 25 years ago, and it escalated, and he was in a really, really dark place last week, and I got to practice my first healing modality, which I'm calling shamanic sound massage, and he is transforming, and I believe he is a water dragon incarnate. So
yeah, I've had memories of being a black dragon and having my tail cut off. These are real things.
I'm told I'm a purple dragon in my reading, so
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah, so we do go through this process of healing, within us and all the layers of us, and disconnecting from those tribes and memories of what was containing us, holding us down. And so, yeah, a lot of people are helping to heal the earth, and Dragon Earthwork, which is the class I teach. We're healing those portals and vortexes, with our beings. And there are areas that need light and beings that need light, just as our guardian angels and guides. I send them energy as well as receive. Yeah, that's beautiful. I hope that helped. Or were you just commenting, or did I answer?
Yeah. Well, and it's just been such a fire hose of transformation right now, and it's like every bit of information that comes across me, it's so serendipitous, and it's able to finally be in flow in this manner that I've not been ever. So it's a very pivotal point for me, and I
Wow, yeah, love it. Yeah, I work with Neptune's dragons too, the aquamarine dragons. You'll find them in not Doreen Virtue, but the Diana Cooper deck. If you have that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Maggie. I just love what you talk about. I resonate so much with it, and I do the portal and vortex work as well. And but I never saw it on the dragons. I'm curious because something they showed me on this, they showed me like the dragons themselves have like their own portal and vortex, like their own system of that. And they say when you hit a certain level, you gain access, and when you start working with your dragon more, to use that. Has that been the case for you? Have you seen that?
Oh my gosh,
I think
yes.
you.
Yeah, yeah. So I was taught to activate people's dragon light bodies, and that comes in 4 parts. And one of those parts is our heart womb portal.
Mhm.
So we activate it within, and so the dragons have it. So you know how this is like kind of the delicate area of dragons, and in myth, they could get stabbed in their dragon hearts and that sort of thing. They birth through their hearts. And so we learn to manifest and also birth through our own vortexes. And so I teach people how to do that. Yeah, it's really deep work. It's so amazing. But it's clearing our own sacral fires and, mixing it with our heart fires and, creating, and we do a lot of like heart womb breathing, which I'm sure, a lot of people that do, womb work is similar. Because it's really great work that we do, because and even whether or not you have a womb, that sacral energy is also what we're holding for the planet and helping to clear that many lifetimes of suppression. So it's really deep work. Yeah.
That is so awesome. I have one other question, just because, of your knowledge. Another thing that keeps presenting to me is that it must be the water dragons. Yeah, it was. That they kept showing me like they give birth more like seahorses. Have you seen that as well? And I was just like, okay, it's a new one, but I've been seeing it a lot. I'm like, because some of the dragons that, when I've connected people, they say, well, just wait, because my family's coming with me. And they show these little babies coming out of a pouch. And I raised seahorses and for a long time. And so I was like, okay, so I didn't know if the imagery was accurate. I was like, okay, well, they're showing me these babies coming out of a pouch. Okay.
That's so cool. Yeah, it is like that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know the meaning of seahorses. Maybe you can answer that question better than me since you raised them.
Yes. Well,
magical.
I'm not sure. I mean, as far as they do have a very spiritual meaning of, and I forget the connection. I did look into it because it is part of certain calendars, like have different animal representations. And I think it was the Nordic calendar I was looking into. And there was variations, but the older variation did have one in seahorses. So if you'd like to connect to that, I suggest looking up, like the Nordic wheel. I think the seahorses were about like new beginnings, rebirth, and things like that. But it's kind of evading me right now. But that's where I connected more with what the spiritual meaning of seahorses themselves were about. They were very important. Obviously, the Nordics were very much on the water a lot, so I can see where they had that connection.
I would add that as we go deeper into working, with the watery tribes, we started to realize that, whales, oyster tribes, probably seahorses are some of the first tribes ever here. And so they have a lot of ancient wisdom and knowledge. Seahorses also mate for life. So, and because they're birthing through their heart, it wouldn't surprise me if they have some heart frequencies. But whales, for instance, always travel on the same lines, and they're supporting the grid of the earth. And so I don't know how seahorses travel and whatnot, but there might be something to that they're helping to support the grid and the heart of Gaia.
Thank you for that on the whales and seahorses, because that's something I was recently being shown, like how they are and how their frequencies and the noises they make, they're trying to heal the earth on that level.
Oh, they make noises? See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, with
Really?
frequencies, they were just telling me that something along that lines, how sentient they are, and part of the reason that they were. And there are some people who believe some of what was it, the Lemurians, like um morphed into dolphins, and I'm not sure about that, but I know there are a train of thought that thinks that they were once, that they
Yeah,
decided to be more,
I think so. For
water
sure.
element. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yep. And that dolphins even came from other planets.
Yes, yes, exactly. They answered the call
Mhm.
for my understanding as well. Just like Elizabeth did. Hey, Earth needs some help here.
So we're all like, woo, feeling really watery right now. Yay.
Yes. Thank you for all of that, Maggie, and for holding space with
My
us today.
pleasure. I'm
And,
so
and
happy
I,
to be here today and to vibe with all of you, and I can't wait for what's next.
me either. And I'm so thankful. And like I said, I'll reshare her links, but feel free to connect with Maggie if you want to learn more on all of the dragon essences. Oh, there is one more. I don't know if you can answer this, but maybe somebody can. And she asked if you think mushrooms are from another planet. Some people
And there's
believe they're
so
a
many
communication portal.
kinds too. And you're probably talking about the ones that you specifically take that help you see colors. There are many medicinal things. I believe that because we're also made up of all the elements. Okay, so all of them are okay. So yeah, we're made up of all the elements within us, which is why, the herbs and roots and shoots help us. And what I believe as far as yeah, when you think about like when you see like those space shows, or even when you watch Avatar, and they have those little beings that are floating about, they're mushroom like but float. And like when you blow on a dandelion, and mushrooms have that as well, they have spores, right, that spread. So it wouldn't surprise me if they came from somewhere from far, far away too. I will also add that, anything that has a psychedelic nature has its own elemental being, which is why when we do on an asteroid, yeah, that makes sense that spores could come in on an asteroid. I really dig that thought. But so for instance, when you do like a certain mushroom, that helps you connect psychedelically, you're more than likely to see gnomes and little people that I call brownies. And then different, like ayahuasca and different psychedelics, you're going to see different elemental beings.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, but mushrooms, I am a cancer survivor, and, taking all the things and doing all the things I did. And there are some magical, magical healing mushroom tribes for sure. To help us today. But yeah, they might have come in through an asteroid. That makes sense. A lot of things did, right?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, and to what she said, I just want to comment. My daughter, my youngest, has pre-birth and in between life memories and everything. She's never forgotten a lot of these things. And she's like, Mom, like the 3D formation of Earth literally was a collection of all, star seeds type stuff. Like it was seeded from all these other planets. Like she said, the asteroids crashing or different planets exploding and being destroyed. It's all a collection, and we've evolved from that. And so I thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay. So it goes along to what Michelle was speaking. It makes
Yes.
sense.
I love that we've all have experience with that. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much again, Maggie. Like I said, and we'll we'll definitely have to connect more on that. Go ahead, Jennifer, and then we're going to move on to. Oh, she put her head down. Okay. We'll move on to the meditation.
I don't know if you could see this.
Mhm.
But that's my dragon. It had like opalescent scales,
Mhm.
but pink and opalescent, like,
Nice.
yeah.
The seraphim are a lot like that. They're Sophia's dragons.
Okay.
And Andromeda energy has also some of that pink hues and love frequencies. There's so many hues of love frequencies and light rays. Yeah, that reminds me of that personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And that,
Yeah, whatever resonates for you, right?
yeah, and the first dragon I ever saw, yeah, was like shades of like magenta, purpley reds, and everything as well. And it's interesting, like I was telling Maggie before this started, in the Bond Lemuria deck, it's Awakening to Awareness is the name of that card with that dragon. So, and I think it was like the portal to first meeting dragons and then all of that. So I think that's very interesting on the color anyway. Thank you again, Maggie. I'll turn it back over to Jeff. He's going to guide us through his guides or intuitively. I'm not sure what type of meditation Jeff is doing today, but I always trust that he knows exactly what everyone needs. So I will turn it over to you, Jeff.
Yep, that's the general idea, Lorelei. I was listening carefully, very carefully, to the path that Maggie took to get a better idea of what would be useful and helpful here. So I'm gearing it to where folks are now with their focus, with their energy, and what Maggie presented, and taking it from there. So let's do this. So now, close your eyes. And here's where we're going. I'm going to bring you down a staircase, one step at a time. And what I'm going to have you do is embrace light and energies as you go. So with the first step, having you embrace an orb of brilliant light. Encase yourself within that light. Embrace it. Experience it. Bring it all the way around you to be part of the light. I'm inclined to have you create the lighting of your choice, to not offer a particular lighting like green light, orange light, anything like that. You make the choice on what lighting resonates for you. I'm encouraging you to surround yourself with that light as you take the next step. So the next step that I'm going to have you take, it's going to be a total of 5 steps. The next step within that light is to experience being bathed in that light as you proceed. Feel the brilliance, feel the beauty, feel the warmth of that light as it embraces you, soothes and radiates you. As the light supports and takes care of you, that you're now within and surrounded by. You're now on the second step, continuing to be bathed in, surrounded by, embraced and supported and empowered by the light you are now surrounded by. Continue to feel it and embrace it more and more. Now you are experiencing a larger, deeper, more intense light surrounding that light as you go down to the third and fourth steps, feeling more and more relaxed, more and more energetically charged, more and more embraced within that light, feeling the light, feeling supported, empowered, and embraced by the light. Going between the third and fourth steps, embraced and empowered by the light that you are surrounded by. I'll have you also be feeling nearby green fire. The fire magnifying your energies, magnifying your strength, magnifying your aura as you go. The fire that you are experiencing is being provided and supported by your dragon. As you go down from the fourth to the fifth steps, supported by the green fire, being provided by your dragon, as you are surrounded by, enveloped in, supported by, empowered by, taken care of by the light that is all around you. You're now moving on fifth step, coming to a floor below the step. It is the most wonderful floor you've ever experienced. In front of you, as you reach that floor, is a set of doors, double doors, the most awesome, brilliant doors you have ever experienced. The doors that you have always wanted to have in front of you to open as you are standing on that floor, fully supported by your light, fully supported by the fire, fully supported by the dragon that has provided that fire. Now you are throwing open those doors, throw them open to the most magnificent scene you've ever experienced, supported by your light, supported by your fire, supported by the dragon. It's the most magnificent scene you've ever come across. And that scene into a wondrous landscape, a wondrous environment that is there for you to experience as you continue to be enveloped by your light, to be embracing and supported by your magnified fire, to be empowered by your dragon as you proceed step by step into your amazing, incredible, empowering space, your landscape, your environment. That is exactly what you needed to be right now, moment by moment, each moment of now, as you enter, as you step into it. It has exactly the air, the land, the materials, the ingredients that you need to have within, has exactly what you need to be supported by. Look around you, be enraptured by the energies, by the electric feeling, by the lights, by any sounds that you experience, as you are so enraptured by everything around you, so supported, so empowered by everything around you. It connects with you. It touches you deep within. You feel so wonderful as you experience everything around you. The oneness, the unity with your environment, with everything in your environment. As you look around, as you feel it under your feet, within yourself, around you, everything that you see and feel and hear is for you, to empower you, electrifying in each moment. Stay with the electrifying, empowering feeling of the most wonderful, most beautiful lighting, the most wonderful sounds that you have ever imagined. Continue to feel that as you go. Your dragon is feeling it every step of the way, along with you, as excited as you, engaged with you, supporting you, taking care of you every step of the way within this amazing, rapturous environment the dragon is very much a part of and co-creating and manifesting alongside of you and with you and within you. Stay with the feeling. The feeling is for you to embrace yourself within, to wrap yourself within. Take it in. The luxurious feeling, the luxurious sounds, luxurious energies that are for you, support you, to take care of you. Never before have you felt such empowerment, such beauty, such energy, so supporting you in every possible way. So exciting, so empowering, so supporting, so energizing. Is exactly what you need it to be. And you will have this available to you at each moment, always. At any time you want or need to tap into this feeling, into this energy, into this environment, is there for you to have at any time that you need it. Now we'll begin to slowly bring you back. I am not asking you in any way, shape, or form to let it go. I am encouraging you, inviting you to bring it with you, within yourself, within your heart, to bring it with you as you come back to us. I will count from 5 down to 1 as you slowly bring it with you to come back to us. Empowered, nurtured, feeling love, loving yourself, feeling fully, totally empowered. 5, as you begin to gradually come back all the way, feeling this incredible, amazing environment kept within you. 4, 3, as you begin to feel yourself be more and more aware of a group. 2, as you begin to feel yourself gradually, moment by moment, becoming more and more aware of the room that you are in, fully empowered, fully loved, fully loving yourself, at oneness, at unity with all. 1, as you're coming more and more into the room, more and more embracing yourself, more and more back to us with more and more love, more and more feeling protected by your light and your dragon, more and more feeling so supported as you come back into our space. Now, as you are ready, bringing this with you, come back more and more as you are ready, loving yourself, feeling supported and empowered, coming back more and more into our space as you are ready to be among us. as you become more and more aware of the room that you are in, more and more aware of the space of our group, of our love energies, more and more aware of being part of us. Bring all of this with you. Leave nothing behind. It is all part of you, within you. As you are fully here, full of love, full of energies, feeling fully supported, invigorated, encouraged, and supported in being here with us. Thank you for doing this process with us and embracing us and loving us.
Thank you
Take
so
your
much.
time. Welcome. Take your time. Embrace it.
That was beautiful.
I had Maggie's assistance. She showed me the way to where it needed to go.
I love how you guys all work together with those energies. That is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Then we're going to move on to our closing blessing.
I see that Jennifer has a question, it looks like.
Okay.
I had a comment and I wanted to say thank you because I haven't had joy for a very long time. And just going through that process with you, I tapped into that childhood joy I used to have and I brought it back and it makes me feel better. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
That's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This time I'm going to introduce you to Rev Ned Sheldon. And he's going to be doing our closing teaching blessing. Rev grew up with the energies and oneness of the woods and the energies and entities thereof. His older cousin spent much time living in Rev's home as a teen, providing a base to expand his current being. His cousin would teach him about near-death experiences and multi-dimensional beings. Rev has taught on pure love for over 40 years. His career was managing international grad students and creating programs for diversity gatherings, where he has met beautiful ones from 177 countries. He has facilitated earth ceremonies even as a teen, not knowing they were called this, and he also has been part of the Lakota ceremonies of various kinds for over 30 years. His near-death experience was in November of 2018 and was a confirmation of being a messenger of pure love and bringing the heart energies and mind energies together in a toroidal energy release. Before his near-death experience, and during his near-death experience, the hidden ones, the little people, were with him. He had a stroke in July of 2021, and during his 13 days of rehab, a high-density being came to visit him, which expanded his energies of pure love and left pure love residue in the room where many could sense. Thank you, Rev, and thank you for always holding space and connecting all of the energies and weaving them together at the end. I so appreciate you.
You are welcome, Skyfalls. Wow, you three are tough to follow. The energies and the images that's happening in the head thoughts of Rev and the mind, the mind thoughts, the heart thoughts, and the essence. The source of divine energies of the cosmos, our home, and the phenomenal vibrations of Mama Earth cover you in pure love and in gratitude. Some of the words that were shared tied to oneness, being united, speed of thought, bending of light, vortex, portal, expanding oneself, let go of our limitations, refocus the more, clear your mind, a place within you, clarity, focus, earth, a macrocosm, dragons. Step into your divine. Release what you do not need. Free ourselves from fear. Higher thought, balance, water, release, clear. Give gratitude. Our own power. Fill up with the light. Beautiful energies. Embrace, magnify your light. Each moment of the now, fully loved, fully empowered. As I was preparing for this closing teaching blessing, I watched a live interview with Loreli. I read some of Maggie's amazing articles. And I was on a live with Jeff, with who I call Babyface Callahan. These stirred something deep within Rev. I had this profound, smaller spiritual muscles of gratitude firing up within me to share about the energies of gratitude for this closing teaching blessing. I am so grateful to be here, to Loreli and to the presenters and to each one of you here. I say to you what Grandma Sheldon said to me many times doing chores for her. Bless your heart. She crossed over in my arms many, many years ago. Loreli sent me some things that touch Rev deeply, and energies again flowed of gratitude. And Loreli, there's no place like Nome. This closing blessing was initiated on June 19th of our Wednesday evening Zoom. Many beautiful things were shared that evening. I had shared about being in my scooter at the grocery store, and this ball of light energy preceded a lady this energy was radiating from. The loving ways that came from Mr. Jeff touched my essence so deeply, and gratitude was sent forth in ways within my body. Mr. Jeff didn't even say a word. It was what was radiating from him. Beautiful and meaningful energies that stirred the rivers of gratitude within me. Rev enjoys the flow and the glow of gratitude each day. Some say thankfulness is an emotion, a gratitude, an attitude of appreciation under any circumstance. Yes, beautiful ones, gratitude involves being thankful, but it's so much more than that. Gratitude means expressing thankfulness and being appreciative of life daily, even in Rev's chores. I've been taught to show my love and gratitude to the cosmos. The gratitude waves are powerful energies. Rev has had many experiences to choose the gift of gratitude and unwrap this divine, ever-expanding gift. Gratitude and thanksgiving, according to my cardiologist, has kept me alive. In so many words, he said, there's no fear or anxiety within you. And through your journey of pure love and tranquility, you are still here. Skyfuls of gratitude. Walking and breathing in pure love with the support pillars of gratitude and thanksgiving creates an atmosphere charged with the mystical more energies. Many know that Rev is not very connected to our culture. For me, it's more discombobulated energies to deal with each day. In my teen years, my dad shared many truths about the institutions. He was preparing me to be me. Rev has constantly had life experiences that teach me about the depths of gratitude ever since I was a kid. Connected to the woods and the elements, they taught me gratitude. They were living elders to me. Yes, to be truly grateful, to live in appreciation, firstly, we need to be present and actually pause to feel the many gifts that the present moment offers. Some of my hardest trials and tribulations have been the greatest gifts. Here are 3 life happenings that expanded gratitude within Rev, and those energies go way beyond Earth. And I know Mama Earth really enjoys our gratitude. In my early 20s, my dad shared with me in love that when Mom became pregnant with me, she was not to have another child after my older brother arrived 6.5 years earlier. Doctors recommended aborting me because of the possibility of loss of life. My dad also shared in this transforming conversation that ever since Mom delivered me, her health took a downturn for the rest of her life. Beautiful ones, it was like buckets of golden liquid gratitude were poured over me. And I'm still wonderfully wet from this sacred conversation. This experience that I think of frequently was a huge substation in my electrical grid. The second life event was centered around a brown recluse spider that bit me. That lowered my immune system and then allowed the Lyme disease to flow into my body that was being stored there. You talk about another substation in Rev's power grid. Being based in pure love and gratitude keeps me going through the line. I'm not supposed to be walking, according to the Lyme doctors 11 years ago. I should be living in a chair or bed. I even had a neurologist tell me, go home, put your feet up and die. Bless his heart. This substation of Lyme disease has sharpened my focus on daily life. Yes, the Lyme has damaged nerves in the back of my eyes, my ears, and my walking. But everyday Lyme reminds me of gratitude that I can be and do daily tasks and chores which are filled with the mystical energies. The third substation was the stroke that Loreli referred to. I had it on July 7th in 2021, 3 years ago today. Amazing beings of the cosmos. I did not know my family, how to shower, floss, write, text. And around the 4th day of my 13th day hospital stay, I had this high being of pure love enter my room on the 5th floor and stayed for about an hour, expanding the pure love I had been teaching on for 38 years at that time. This cosmic guest residue stayed in the hospital my whole stay. Almost every time I get in the shower, I give thanks. I give thanks when I write narratives and create videos. My speech was affected and Red loves to teach and share. Gratitude takes Rev to higher frequencies that are equal to pure love, somewhere in the 540 megahertz range, where our being has a frequency between 62 and 78 megahertz. For Rev, gratitude is a residual of pure love, and these energies attract mystical energies and higher energies each and every day for me. There's a cosmic flow in living and walking and breathing in gratitude. The energies of gratitude bring gifts to Rev each day, sacred bundles of precious energies. During ceremony, the higher ones come and bring their energies to us. During the day, I have higher guests and beautiful energies. Every night, when the precious pillow people are calling me, I have all kinds of entities appear as my heart thoughts and my head thoughts release gratitude to them. You talk about being loved on. Rev wants to thank each one of you here, and Loreli and Maggie and Mr. Jeff for stirring the beautiful waves of gratitude and preparing this celebration, and even what I'm feeling currently. Gratitude is an amazing connector for Rev and a cleanser for Rev. Gratitude releases the energies of beauty for Rev each and every day. Years ago, I traded in my GMC, you know, that vehicle we get in and drive down the road of life every day, groaning, moaning, and complaining each day. Remember, we are responsible for our energies. So now I drive a free energy PLGB, pure love, gratitude wrapped and beauty each day. Rev desires to close with this thought. German researchers found that the heart of an average person emits 20 photons of light per second. Someone in a state of gratitude, appreciation, loving kindness emits 100,000 photons per second. A light being, you? Yes. Each one of you are precious gifts of the cosmos. Even though we are connected in divine cosmic ways, be wrapped in your sacred uniqueness and unwrap the gift of the authentic you. Amazing divine cosmic light, beings of the mystic more, thank you for you. The beautiful energies of the West, the entities and energies thereof, and of the North be with you, and with the East be with you, and the entities and energies of the South be with you in amazing and beautiful ways. Rev loves you, skyfuls. So it is, eternal ones.
Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful closing blessing, Rev. And the gratitude. They always say to wake with gratitude before you even leave the bed and push your feet to the ground. Remember to give thanks that you woke that day. Thank you for that reminder. Ari, you had a question before we wrap up?
Well, I was very deeply touched by that, Rev, and I would love if you would allow me to share 30 seconds of sound and healing intention for Rev to move forward with. Thank you. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Lorelei. Thank you, Jeff,
Thank
Margaret.
you. Thank you so much, Ari. And thank you everyone for joining us. Remember, we meet for this event, Celebration of Consciousness, the first Sunday of the month at 11 a.m. Central Time. All are welcome. We hold this space in a free manner to expand consciousness and for everyone to feel the divine unconditional love. I thank you for holding space with us today, and we'll see you next time.